on my computer. Okay, so welcome to this Madara community call number 12. If we do one every 2 weeks, it's been 6 months. 6 months of Madara community call. It's the beginning of a birthday. What's new is that I will share my screen. We did a release. We didn't follow with the release this last week. We like the whole exploration team. Maybe I will start with this. Was in Tel Aviv, meeting the rest of Starkware. So it was really insightful, but it was difficult to move the project forward at the same time. Basically, we spent 5 days having like non-stop meetings with all the team at Starkware. So the Papyrus team, the one building the Blockifier, like basically everybody. So now we have a better vision on what's going on because as you may know, the exploration team, we are all working remotely. We are the only team which is not mainly based in Israel. So it's a little bit different, a little bit harder for us to have like a good understanding on what's going on. Adel, maybe you want to add a few words on this?
Yes, I think we might share some things about what we learned during this offsite, because as you said, we discussed with many teams, almost all of the teams like working on the compiler, Blockifier, almost all the components of the system, infra team as well, stuff like that. So we are gathering all our feedback, and then we will share something about what we learned during this offsite and try to build useful content for the community based on our learnings. Yes.
It was really the good moment to go there, I think, because from a Madara perspective, we arrive at the point where we have the whole thing working, we have new tests, we did the refactor, the code is much more cleaner. That was the objective of the last sprint, and we merged in this release like 2 or 3 long-lasting refactoring or testing pull requests. So now we are really feeling confident to move forward and start adding new feature again. And the new feature we are trying to add right now is layer 1, layer 2 messaging and the integration with the prover. So it's kind of stuff that exists outside of the Madara project. So it was, and that Starknet already did, and we have to follow. So it was really nice to be able to talk with those teams at this specific moment where we are starting to have those issues. So I will share my screen and we will do like, let's celebrate the V3 release. Good job, everybody. So there was a lot of things going on. I think you can have a look at it on your free time. But as I said, it was mainly the Rust test that allow us to discover numerous minor bugs, but that we still fixes. Other bugs, there was a huge type refactoring, and yeah, other smaller thing. And so it's moving in the good direction. It wasn't good big features. It was more consolidation on what we already have. And I think we did a really good job of this. And we can also give a special round of applause for our 7 new contributors on a total of 15, which means that close to half the contributors were new contributors. So I think it's good news that new people are coming to the project. Maybe we can also think that, are we struggling to have retention on the older one? I don't know. We will see, I guess, in the next sprint. Maybe we should do some data analysis on this on our free time. Problem is we don't have really much free time. And so this is great. Next sprint, we have multiple things going on. So for the layer 1, layer 2 messaging things, I contacted a few contributors 1-2 weeks ago and created a Telegram channel, putting them, I think there are 4 or maybe 5, and we are trying a new thing, which is having a small group of contributors working on a big task that require like multiple issues, having it developed end to end. Because our option were either we do it ourselves, the core team, but we don't have much time because we also have to do like managing the project, other things. So it will not move really fast, or split it on multiple little issues and have everybody pick one contributor, one the other. And we thought they will be like deadlock and people blocking each other. So what we are trying in some experience is to have like a small group of contributors and having them being autonomous on this huge feature, which is layer 1, layer 2 messaging. So Michael is going to give us a smaller idea of what's going on with layer 1, layer 2 messaging. You can go ahead.
Okay, sure. Thank you. So I'm gonna like quickly summarize like for the design we like proposing right now for the layer 1 to layer 2 communication. So let me share my screen to just a sec. Okay, so it's like a little chart that I made to illustrate what are we working on. So in a nutshell, if we're talking about the communication between Madara and like Ethereum, there are like multiple aspects, right? Because like in addition to the sequencer, we also have prover, we have like layer 1, we have like data availability layer, which can be like either Ethereum or like a separate blockchain, so it's kind of complicated. And our scope is kind of like a more focused on messaging only. And this includes the smart contract on layer 1 that are responsible for state updates. So this is not the data availability. So there are like no state diffs, just the like the hash of the root. And the messages that are coming from layer 2 to layer 1 and in the reverse direction. So our goals, like roughly, is to enable the flow where Madara publishes Starknet like new state for a new state root for the Starknet app chain to like a smart contract without any validation. So we like currently we do not publish proofs. We do not publish state diffs, just like the state root and messages, so that we have like bi-directional messaging protocol between Ethereum and Madara Starknet Hub chain. And also we wanted like a quick solution for like a centralized setup. So for now, we're like not thinking about what's it's going to like to be look like in the future, where sequencing is going to be like decentralized, right? Because it's kind of like a more complicated task, and now we wanted to like iterate quickly and come up with the like a fully fledged solution. So the current status of the like the messaging is like some parts are already there in the Madara code base. It's implemented as the off-chain worker, but so we will probably like change that and use another approach. Also for the smart contract part, it's also like already there. So Ben from the exploration team has created like a separate repo called Zone, where you have all the necessary smart contracts for like a Starknet App chain setup. It's like a Foundry setup, so you can like spin up your own instance and you know, like play with it. So it's really cool. So lastly, to the scheme. So the design we came up to involves two two indexers that are working within the substrate client, and they're like responsible for indexing layer 1 messages or like events, and Madara layer 2 block updates accordingly, right? So the purpose of the layer 1 indexer is to handle all the StarkNet state contract updates, which may be either new state, right? So that new states was like applied successfully and like transition to the latest known state root, or like event that signalizes that there is like a pending layer 1 to layer 2 message, and the role of the layer 2 indexer is to keep track of the new layer 2 blocks that are finalized on Madara side, and aggregate all the layer 2 to layer 1 messages together with the latest state in a like specific format and submit to the smart contract on layer 1. So yeah, that's like roughly like the picture. So the it's kind of like a more or less finalized design, I think. So there will be like some small changes in the upcoming weeks, but I think so. We like already started working on the implementation, and yeah. If you have any questions, so I will try to answer them. Thank you.
So the idea is that in this first implementation, we are going to skip the proving part because we just want to have like the full circle, layer 1, layer 2 communicating together without any proof. And it will let the time for another group of people to work on the interaction with the sharp prover. So the idea we have and the way we are going to do this for a chain is that they are going to use sharp. And so we want to have like a thread in the client, which from time to time will ask with published data, state update, and execution trace to sharp. And then sharp will put it on layer 1, and we will have the similar flows than StarkNet. The thing is, this approach is really new for Starkware because Sharp wasn't built at the beginning as a service. It's just a piece of software that they are using in their own StarkNet infra and also on other products they are selling, but it's still internal. And Herodotus was the first company to use it from an external point of view. So they are sending, they are asking for proof from time to time. And at the end of the month, they are paying Starkware for this work of proving and publishing the data. And the approach we are going to have is probably the same. What the little difficulty is because it's not really a product, the API is not really designed for others to use. So we have to adapt to it, and it will be a good test actually for them to see how they can changes, improve of this, and also if there is actually a demand for this, because it wasn't their idea at the beginning to make it a paid service, but because it seems that it will become necessary, we are trying to build this together and see how we can progress on this. And the way the wall proof thing is done is that basically everything that was executed in the sequencer is re-executing on the client by a thing we call the StarkNet OS. It's called OS because it contains syscall. That's the reason why, but it's not really an operating system, but it's just re-executing the whole the whole block, but the main difference is that the sequencer is trying to execute it fast, and the OS is trying to execute in a way that can be proved. And we did a bit of research, and when I say we, it's not me, it's Ben and the Pragma team. I just shared a document in the chat, which is a exceptional HackerMD document that is absolutely a must read. It's not finished yet. It's still under.
It's not a public link.
It's not.
There is no
link.
access.
Oh, okay. So you guys
we
can't.
need to make it public.
You can't see this for now, but
Who
I
is
promise.
The owner of it?
I think it's Matthias.
Matthias? Okay.
Yeah, but when it will go public, you will like it. And Matthias is not there today, and Ben neither. So we will wait maybe the next community call and wait until we have a little bit more improvement on this, like at least a minimal proof of concept. But that's it. You have to know they are working on this currently, and it's on the track. And at some point, we will be hopefully able to. We will do a full walkthrough and explanation next CC, no worries. Thank you very much, Matthias.
And I agree, it's a gold mine of information about the StarkNetOS. Yeah, it's something that is not well known and not well documented. So I think it will help a lot people to understand the role of the StarkNetOS. Yeah.
And yeah, here is the document. Yes, you can see it. You cannot see it anymore. It's private, we say. And for the rest of the community, I think what will interest you the most during those next 2 weeks is the issues that are open. So know that we have like consolidated and stabilized a little bit the code base, added more tests. We are feeling more confident to add new feature and also to fix the last small things that were not perfect and not exact, that were shortcuts. So I think we still have a few shortcuts we took that we have to improve. There is also still some RPC routes to be finished. There is also some transactions that are not really tested and where we need to increase the test coverage. So I think those will be the main thing, but the main difference will be that those last sprints, I was a bit reluctant to create new issues because I knew that so much things were going to change in the code base, and I wasn't really confident to move forward. But no, we can. So I invite any of you to create new issues, create feature requests, try to improve the code base as much as possible. I did it a few days ago, like going through all the code base and looking at the to-do that are in the code and creating issues. But I think there is still more problems that we can solve. And so it will. I think it will be like this for this sprint. We are going to create more and more small issue or fixing or improving little part, finishing the RPC test, and finishing the RPC itself. And once we have this, Abdel thinks that the next big track should be a performance improvement. As you know, we have a Gomu Gomu no Gatling being built at this time. Hawk is getting really involved in this development. So the idea is that it will be a benchmarker for a benchmarking tool for sequencer. So we are going to use it for Madara, obviously, but it will also allow to benchmark different implementation of the sequencer between each other. And I think we just have to leave like few weeks, maybe 1-2 weeks to Gomu to be usable for Madara, and then we will put it back in the CI and start to search places we can improve the performances of the sequencer.
Yeah, basically Gomu Gomu will be our best tool to show that Madara is a blazing fast sequencer. the face the sequencer. No, joke aside, yes, we want it to be a public good. And yes, it will be very helpful for Madara, but not only for Madara.
Okay, that's
apparently Daniel is already working on adding Gomu in Madara CI. So yeah, that's nice. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you very much. So I think that's it on my side. We talk about the state of the code base now and what's going on for the next week, and also the things you probably don't know about, but that are being developed on the side. So I think it could be a good time for questions. And then if Abdel wants to point developers and ask them to present themselves, it will be the good time too.
Yeah, that's a tradition. I agree. First, I want to say hi to Sam, Sammy from Not Guardians. Thanks for being there. It seems you are in your bed. Yeah, you are still in your bed. Okay. Yeah, thank you for being here. Yeah, when Madara Quest?
I mean, I'm definitely down to have like we can get started and work on something maybe like early next year. To be honest, I don't want to overpromise anything whatsoever, but I said I'll do it within the next 12 months. If not, I'll have to embarrass myself. So I still think that we're getting close to it. Just have a lot of backlog to process. But nice to see all of you guys.
Still in Japan?
Yes, it's almost midnight, and I just saw the notification, so I would come say hi, see what's going on with Madara.
Yeah, so you're in the best country to attend to Madara community call then. Yeah.
Absolutely, I can do my dev rel job here.
Everyone, someone is saying, so Daniel is saying in the chat, everyone loves Sam. Yes, that's right. Everyone loves Sam. You cannot hate Sam, actually. It will be very hard to hate you. Even if you did something very bad, I don't know. You have such a friendly face that. Sorry.
Could I jump in with a topic that I think?
Oh yeah, sure.
Something that we really haven't discussed much, and I think that it's really good that you brought up the question of like when Madara Quest, because I think with the current state of usability that we have, no Madara Quest will ever come. And by that I mean that I don't really know. So out of the, like, for example, people in the chat, could you put thumbs up if you have, for example, successfully used Argent with Madara locally? Zero. Starkly. Zero. Starknet.js. Anybody? Okay, so we do not use Madara, living locally. Oh, Upwork, thank God. Okay, you helped me previously. But it broke since the last month that we tried it, right? Guys, so this state of things, I think, is really bad. And the fact that we're all, you know, maybe a little bit advanced in the sense that we work with the internals of Madara. And what? Before they love on the screen? Thanks a lot. Wait.
I don't know what it means, but yeah.
I lost my thought, but yeah, so the point is that, you know, we are using the same way that we use a regular public Starknet, and we use the tools that we use. We need to really bridge the gap. And for an external user who just runs, you know, the one click to Kuyomi or, you know, cargo build release, whatever, blah, in one terminal, in the other terminal window, the Starknet.js, the Argent flow, the Starkly flow should be absolutely identical. So I really want to see people to kind of, you know, like jump into starting to build the flow and the guides. So I'm right now working with Starknet.js because I'm preparing for the hackathon, because me and Timotei, we're going to Istanbul to the hacker house and to the stuff. Yeah, block exploring integration is also very important. So all these things that we have as normal users of the public Starknet, this is really missing. So yeah, and I still haven't fixed like the Argent stuff. So All right, I'll stop the rant, but you got my.
No, that's a very good point. I wanted to talk about it. It's a very good point. So first of all, now I want that we, on each release, we deploy again on Sharingan testnet. We haven't done it for a very long time. So on each release, we need to deploy on Sharingan testnet. And I'm thinking maybe eventually to do some kind of incentivized testing campaign on Sharingan testnet to incentivize people to actually deploy actual dApps, etc. But it's true that we haven't seen a real usage, so it's hard. So once you do the guide for StarkNet, yes, it will be a good template, and then we can create some issues for contributors to create guides for other SDKs, and then we can create issues to fix. But I agree, it's an absolute priority that it should work exactly as is with the same tooling. So yeah, thank you for bringing this. It's very important. So from now, we will always deploy the releases on Sharingan and actually test them end to end with actual tooling. Yeah. Maybe we can try also to have the experiment with a small team responsible of this track. If you can find 2 or 3 people working on that, it can be great. Yeah. But besides Pragma and Kakarot, I don't think, we did not have real usage.
You talk about the Istanbul hackathon. So as Lana said, we will be there and we talk with the people organizing it. And we want to provide the hackathon with a few tracks, a few hackathon subject, hackathon project that will involve Madara in a new way. The idea is not that much to contribute to Madara itself, because it's already what we are doing most of the time. It will be really to build on top of Madara, and we have multiple ideas of projects that could be interesting in this setup. Lana and I will be there to help the team navigate through Madara complexity and setting it up and interacting with it. So it will be crucial at this point. And it will be a really good experience for having people using it actually. And so yeah, come to Istanbul. It will be fun, and we will use Madara.
Thank you. What do you mean, Diego, by how is the state sync verification being managed in the architecture? So right now, for the sync, we execute everything. For sure, this is not the target, because obviously it defeats the purpose of having a validity rollup if all nodes sync by re-executing. So ultimately, we want something where we don't execute, and nodes, when they sync, they actually just apply the state diffs after verifying the proofs. So this is the target for all full nodes on StarkNet. But for now, we don't have that on Madara. I think that Deoxys, so Deoxys is building on top of Madara a StarkNet full node. I think they started to implement this logic, but I'm not sure about the status. Antiro is there actually. Can you share a bit about the status of Deoxys? And then I would like Apur to share a bit about Pragma and their usage of Madara. I'm curious to know what you use to deploy those Pragma smart contracts, stuff like that. Antiro? Maybe he cannot talk. Okay.
In 2 minutes. So
2 minutes. Okay.
Apur.
Hi. Yeah. So I was basically talking about the Madara app chain template, which can be used to easily deploy a new node. So like that's what we're using for Pragma X right now as well. So the idea, like I'll probably put a link of that in the group as well. But the idea is that instead of forking the entire Madara repo and like figuring out where do you need to make the changes for block time or for the genesis state and like figuring all those things out, and instead of having like a lot of boilerplate code, you can just use the Madara app chain template. Like if you're similar to substrate, that is similar to the substrate node template. So basically you just clone that and you just make your changes over there. So initially when we did it for Pragma X, we had to fork the Madara repo. But once we followed this approach, we had to do like less than 100 lines of changes to make Pragma X from Madara. So, and in fact, one thing to know is that even the StarkNet SF winners also built an order book or options exchange, I think, using the app chain template. And if you check their code, even they made like very minimal changes. Like they could focus just on their application logic, which was the options part of it. And the app chain template was just to reduce the block time, and I think it was to change the genesis state. So that's the main idea, and I think it'll be very helpful for people in the hacker house as well. I was actually talking to Lakshmi as well from Starkware, if I could possibly give a small demo of how to use the AppGen template during the hacker house, or if anyone could give that demo, so that it'll be really helpful for teams over there to demonstrate that. So one thing over there is we need to update the AppGen template now after the recent the master PR, the monster PR that Timothy just merged. So we'll have to update that AppGen template. But yeah, that shouldn't be very hard actually as well, because we just probably have to change the version inside AppGen template, and it should mostly work. So I don't know. I think this is the thing that you were asking me to explain, right?
Yeah, thank you. No, yeah, I was not talking about that, but it's very interesting. Thank you.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no worries. It's very useful. And by the way, I think the Madara chain template is very powerful tool to showcase the customizability and flexibility of Madara. Because as you said, with less than 100 lines of code, you can have your full stack NetApp chain with some configuration. So that's very powerful. And indeed, for hackathons and hacker houses, it's the best starting place. Instead of forking, you just use that and focus on your business logic. What are the general? Oh yeah. So there is one question, and then Apuv, I want to talk about how you deploy the smart contracts on Madara in your stack for Pragma. Which are the general rules for the sequencer to achieve consensus? So for the moment, there is no clear. For example, the decentralization of the public starknet is the design of it is not fixed yet. There is a series of 7 posts by Ilya from Starkware about the plans for decentralization, but it's not fixed yet. So we'll obviously follow as default the rules for the public starknet, but it's not as easy as decentralizing layer 1, because it's not only about putting a consensus. It's more complex than that, because first of all, there are 2 entities in the system. There is a sequencer and the prover, and ultimately you want to decentralize both, but you don't decentralize them in the same manner. They don't have the same trade-offs. One executes sequentially in a synchronous manner. The other is asynchronous, fully parallelized. So it is very hard. But right now, what we do is simply we put a classical BFT consensus for the Madara sequencers. So yes, it's classical BFT consensus. It's not the target. It might work for some app chains for sure, as is, but it's not the target for the public starknet for sure. Yes. So Apuv?
Yeah. So regarding part where how we deploy our contracts, am I audible right now? Hello?
Yes. How you deploy the contracts on Madara?
Okay,
exactly.
Yeah, regarding the part on how we deploy the contracts for Pragma X, right, we just add them to the Genesis state, because we don't want to deploy the chain then add contracts. It's just simpler because they don't have chain. So when it's added to the Genesis state,
Okay, I see. So basically, Apuv was saying that for Pragma, they don't actually deploy because they put their contract in the Genesis directly. If I understood correctly, I think this is what you were saying.
I think that's it.
Okay. The demo we did with Tsukuyomi, I don't know if it's that Matthias, but maybe. Actually, for the next CC, or in addition to the StarkNetOS demo or presentation, if you can do a demo of Pragma X, like you did for, I don't remember which event, I think it can be useful. We did a demo that deployed contract plus setup API bar and deployed the front end. Oh yeah, that's very cool. You should present it for the next CC. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so then who can I randomly ping to present himself? Arnaud, have you ever spoken during a community call? There are multiple Arnaud, so I don't know which one. Okay, maybe not.
Hello?
Yes, hello?
Yeah, I'm a poor one. I got disconnected. Sorry, I'm in Bangalore right now, and I was traveling, so the network is not very good. But yeah, basically what I was, I'll just complete that part. I think I got caught up in the middle last time, right?
Yeah, no worries. Matthias explained us in the chat. So basically, you said
Okay,
that
okay.
you don't deploy the
Okay.
contracts that are deployed as part of the Genesis, which makes sense. But Matthias then said that you had a demo where you deploy the contracts and set up the Apibara indexer and deploy the front end all locally within the app. I think it can be useful to present it during the next community call. I think it can be useful.
Yeah.
Antiro, are you still in your library? Okay, interesting. I'm not sure it's the same Diego.
Okay, it's
You
not
have-
this Diego.
No, I don't know. Maybe I would be surprised if it was Diego. Diego, are you Diego, the CEO of the foundation? Oh, okay, maybe not. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Not yet, at least you are not yet the CEO of the foundation.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. It's not only
Nice.
just office, right?
No, it's a library in Paris.
Nice.
No, because only the stuff is.
So there is no big StarkNet logo.
No StarkNet big logo. No, not yet. Yeah, soon.
Okay.
So I wanted to talk about Deoxys a bit because we took over the development and we're going pretty fast. The recent change from Timothée are fucking up everything because we had some types. We basically we are casting what we are receiving from the sequencer to StarkNet palette types, and the refactor of the transaction types are impressive. One thing that is terrible that I talk with Timothée is that I'm currently working with 4 implementation from Starkware, the Blockifier types, the StarkNet API types. We are inspiring us from the Papyrus StarkNet client implementation, which is using the StarkNet API types, and the Madara StarkNet palette types, and none of those types are compatible between each other. So this is kind of frustrating, but I hope that someday in StarkNet we have consistent types.
Yeah, before you continue to add something on that, that's a very good point, and we face it also on Madara. So there is one current initiative to implement a universal felt type for Rust for StarkNet. We are working on that with Lambda class and few others like Jonathan from StarkNet RS. So we finalized the API of this new type. So there is a repo in the StarkNet.io organization called types RS. That is the new types. Let me share the repo link. And then the next step, now that we have the API and the first implementation using I think it's using LambdaWorks backend, if I'm not mistaken, for the actual felt representation. Ultimately, we want it to support multiple backends, but for now, I think it's the Lambda class one. We have some guys from Lambda class, I think, in the call. Esteban, Ignacio, if you are aware of that and you want to share something. But there is this initiative to have one universal REST type for StarkNet, and then we will have a big work to integrate it in all the REST dependencies of the whole ecosystem. But that will help a lot. Yeah, please continue.
So for what we are doing right now is that as always on Deoxys, we are wrapping a StarkNet block into substrate block. So it's a big casting machine. I believe we achieved like around 60% of the integrity of the state, the StarkNet state. Our goal is to reach 100% before the end of this month. We just hired someone recently that it's really good in Rust. I introduced him to StarkNet and all. He's not here right now, but he coded an OS in Rust and all. He's from 42 school like Timothée, so he's
congrats.
Yeah,
and you should bring him from next community call.
Yeah, I invited him, but I think he's not available right now. He will work on Madara also and stuff. He will do some optimizations. So the current problem is that we just need to fill the whole state. Something also is about contract class. Right now, if I get contract, if I want to fill my state, I need to get the contract class from from the sequencer. A raw contract class, if I fill out in the Madara implementation that is using the blockifier contract class parser, it won't fit because for some contract class like Cairo v2 contracts, for example, because there's an offset field missing, that it's replaced by something like a function index field. So again, it's about having a consensus on the fields, and also something that's a bit difficult, and that someone from the Madara team has spotted, is that contract class compiled under version 0.10 or something like that are also not compatible with the contract class declaration from the blockifier. So the first blocks are kind of difficult. That's maybe you saw my tweet today. I hate block 1466 because it's been 1 week since I'm trying to pass that block. But it's whenever you pass that block for an RPC call or the blocks, you will just unlock a lot of blocks because there are some new versions. The most famous one is the 833 or something like that, with the different block hash calculation. But yeah, I believe that by the end of this month we'll have 100% compatibility with the StarkNet state, and by mid-October, with probably the help of the Madara ecosystem, we'll have the L1 verification, and we may believe to go prod in October.
But by the way, come to skip completely this if you do first the L1 verification in the end? No, you can't.
What do you mean, like building the state with the L1
do you
verification?
Yes, exactly. Only
probably. I was wondering if the DA implementation from Dr. Spaceman could help us on the L1 verification, or if there is another, or if we will need to build our own implementation.
I think you can use the same primitives. Yes, for sure. You will all have all the parts to read from Ethereum data, stuff like that. So I think we can leverage that, and I think it will completely solve the problem. And you would not have to deal with legacy. It will be a bit different after we have EIP 4844 on Ethereum. Because those data we will publish, they won't stay forever. But for now, you can have access to all the call data from the genesis of StarkNet.
Yeah, that's we want to know how we can do in an optimized way the L1 verification. We are still exploring this. I don't know if it's relevant for Madara right now to have this implementation.
Actually, I think you could do something very powerful that will be a mix of the primitives we have in Beerus and reading from L1, because ultimately what you want is syncing with the latest state. Okay?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like basically with the storage proof, you can quickly verify that, because there is on Ethereum, on the proof of stake chain, there is the sync committee, which is a committee that enables you to quickly have access to the latest chain head in a trustless manner. And you can use that like basically to get the latest Ethereum block. And from that, you can get the latest StarkNet state reading from the StarkNet core contract. And maybe I think you could do some backward syncing. No, you cannot do backward syncing. If you want to apply only state, if you need to start from Genesis. But yeah, it's okay. Never mind. Forget about that. You can use it to do some additional verification layer to make sure that you are querying the valid data. Let's say, for example, if you query an Ethereum RPC that is not your own full node, you can add a storage proof layer on top of it, but that's a different story. But okay, I think you should investigate and see if you could completely skip this part and sync from Genesis and just apply the state diffs, because you won't have to deal with the backward compatibility and all the legacy stuff. Yeah.
So yeah, that was an option, but I think that syncing the state from block 0 will help us make sure that we have the integrate data.
Yeah, so
yeah.
Approve is asking, if we read state directly from L1, then Deoxys does not need support legacy transaction, right? Exactly, that's what I'm saying. If you sync with a state diff from L1, you don't need to support different kinds of transaction types,
But
stuff like that.
then we won't support pending transaction if we only sync from L1.
Pending transactions, but this is pending transactions are only when you are already synced, and then you will be synced to the latest version of transaction. You won't have to deal with previous versions of transactions.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it's yeah. You should explore this option.
Yeah, we will. We're also working on another project, as you may know, which is Barknet, so Bitcoin data availability layer using the Madara engine. And what I can say on Kazar behalf and with the authorization of Taproot is that we will probably do a pull request by mid October to implement a Bitcoin data availability with our own adapter on Madara directly, so that anyone can play around. And
perfect. As long as you implement the same interface we intensify, that's very cool.
So yeah, we literally the same.
Yeah, can you share a bit about Barknet, because some people don't know about
yeah,
it?
it's kind of proof of concept right now. That's why probably you saw Antoine asking about Gomu Gomu, because right now we need to benchmark it. We will deploy. We already have the Barknet, the Bitcoin D implementation inside Barknet. We already can launch Barknet network, but currently we are building an AMM forking GDI swap, so we can have like proper benchmark with a testnet, hopefully deployed by the end of this month, so that anyone can just like push as much as state as much as data inside our state, so that we can just bash big state diffs inside of Bitcoin and monitor what monitor and benchmark what can be the optimization to be done still. So yeah, it's a proof of concept, but we hope that by the beginning of October we'll have some great news for the Madara ecosystem.
Thank you very much. That's very impressive. Congrats for all the progress on the different projects. Very happy that Kazaa Labs is expanding. That's very good to see. There's a question about will it be possible to run Cairo program from XCM? If and when we add XCM, we don't have Cumulus and really chain in this context. Yes, that's a good point. Actually, Approve was thinking about maybe building a sort of relay chain for layer 3s that could bring some interoperability between layer 3s using Madara. It's a new design space. We need to explore it. I agree it will be very important, like to solve fragmentation of liquidity, stuff like that. So a mix of the Polkadot relay chain design plus storage proofs, I think, is very promising. But yeah, it's very new design space. We need to think about it. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Good point, Matthias. We need layer 3s first, and we are far away from it right now. For those who don't know, indeed, for Madara, we want to support layer 2s, but also layer 3s and whatever type of layers you want. But for that, we need something that is missing, which is the ability to be able to verify the proofs in Cairo. And the new version of Cairo, of course, we don't want to add the Cairo 0 legacy. So we need a Starknet Cairo 1 verifier. And also that we need some modification in Sharp, because, for example, the Sharp can only settle on the layer 1 for the moment. There is already some Cairo proof verification in Cairo 0 that is used by Sharp off-chain. Sharp is already doing the recursion off-chain in Cairo. So the idea is that you do the recursion and basically you verify the proof of chain in Cairo, and you do that recursively, then you submit a proof to the L1, a proof of the verification of the proofs, basically. But yeah, we have some missing pieces to implement layer 3s with Madara. But first, let's make sure we have everything as a layer 2, because we need it, and then we'll implement what is missing for layer 3s. We'll do some of the work in parallel. It's not completely sequential, but yes. Yes.
Well, we are close to the 1 hour mark. Is there other stuff that need to be discussed, or can we wrap it up? Okay, I think I will stop the recording.
Oh yeah, so that we can trash talk a bit.